Hello, YouTube. We're back at it with a strength build with a modest amount of intelligence. Elden Ring, in diverging from other Souls titles of years past, has more or less decided for you, without your consent, that your build should be a hybrid build. Whether it be a high dexterity build with a good amount of faith, or perhaps a high strength build with some intelligence, there are a slew of weapons, most of them being unique, that allow you to play with the archetypes that have existed in previous Souls games. Of course you can go pure strength. Of course you can go pure dexterity. You can go pure intelligence or pure faith. All of these options are still available to you, and they have a myriad of tools with their various utilities and big damage numbers available to you. But if you blend the formula just a little, you get some very tasty stuff. And so today we're playing with mostly strength, 54 strength to be precise, with 20 points of intelligence. Not a whole lot, but just enough. And you get access to some neat stuff, as well as the stuff you already love and enjoy on the strength build, like the Stormhawk axe. That's right. So we're going to show you the build on screen real fast for those of you who are interested. The core weapons seem to be for this build like a Falling Star Beastjaw or Waves of Darkness or the Ruins Greatsword, you know, those, or the Radahn's Star Scourge Radahn's curved greatswords, for instance. You have all these weapons, or even a Carian Knightsword. All these weapons are strength weapons for the most part that either have an int requirement or we have put a Frost Infusion on it to make it use a little bit of both. I think technically the Falling Star Beastjaw is a quality weapon with an int requirement, but I see people mostly use it on strength builds because I think it's got a steep strength requirement before the thing will even function. So it's one of those, kind of like the Envoy Horn. The Envoy Horn, I think the big one, is technically a quality weapon with a faith requirement. But of course, if you have, you know, the higher magic stat on like the Envoy Horn, then the Ash of War hits harder. And so this build has the little bit of utility that I really like. It's got a little extra flavor, a little extra zip compared to your normal strength build. And don't get me wrong, I love the pure strength builds. They're wonderful. But this build offers just a smidge more, and that comes in the utility you get from being able to quickly swap to a Falling Star Beastjaw and use it like Lightning Bolt works on dex builds, and be able to peg people from a medium distance for good damage, does the stumble. It's very nice. Or you got a lot of people in a crowded little hallway, you can pull out the Ruins Greatsword and just steamroll the whole hallway with that cataclysmic earthquake wave ability. You want to use a great bow, you can use a great bow. You want to hit people with a great lance that's strength infused, you'll do fine there as well. You want to use paired straight swords, well, the Carian Greatsword, the Carian Knight's straight sword is an excellent option for you as well, a strength weapon with an int requirement. It's all there, and it's so very fun. I think I played on this character, I want to say briefly, for the backstab fishing video I did with the Executioner Axe, which isn't the optimal way to get critical damage, don't you worry. I just did it for fun, and I never went back to this character, unfortunately. I was like, I should do another one. And really, it's just an evolution of the Enchanted Knight I've done in the past, but this evolution has a smarter inventory that means that even with my brain-dead swaps, I can handle switching to a Falling Star Beast to finish people off. So I'm quite pleased with it. Is it optimized? No. I could probably take a couple points out of faith and move them around and things like that. I say that darn every episode, but that's because my whole shtick is not here to bring you the best build possible. It's to have a little fun. There's plenty of people where you can go get the most optimized and dirty build out there or whatever. And that's actually a topic for next time's video, as I want to talk about the honor and karma and the morality of the Elden Ring PvP. But that's not for this video, so we'll put that one on hold. I have many narrow escapes in this video like that last one, where I escape with just a smidge of HP, but I love these magic attacks that work with strength. And to be fair, the other video I did was a mostly intelligence warrior. I really like that flavor. So being a mostly strength boy who's just a little bit more clever than your average warrior and can use some of the tricks that come with you know, having a handful of points of intelligence, it's really nice. I even have a couple points in faith, so I could get a little utility out of that. I can use bestial vitality to keep my health up. If I really want to, I can swap the frenzied flame casting catalyst for the demi-human staff, and I could cast war crimes if I really needed to. I didn't use it. I do have access to it though, so that is a thing that you get if you copy my build. Exactly. You don't need to, though. But this was a fun little invader duo. I was still trying to figure out my weapons, get in the groove of things. I feel like I spent more time recording for the next video than I do practicing the core mechanics of the game, but hey, they kind of go hand in hand. And so I was trying to get Stormcaller to work into the R2, and I was having trouble, and I wasn't certain if it was the internet or my timing or what's going on. But we have this fun moment where they're distracted by my buddy, and I switch the Falling Star Beast Jaw, and we chunk them for damage, and we chunk them for damage. And we're able to just keep going. And if you want to, you can mix up the timing on that thing, and it'll really wreck people. Don't cast it as fast as you can. You don't need to. But this guy is just got that pitbull tunnel vision. He wants to kill my co-invader so very badly, and he gets backstabbed by the silly Star Scourge Radahn Curve's great swords. Those things crack me up. I probably should use them a little more for jump attacks. They're supposed to be pretty good at that, but I have not done that just yet. But it's nice to have the pull. It's nice to have just so many options. The character, I felt like, didn't suffer an identity crisis when you go meta, because I like to have my characters be roleplay or be lore appropriate. Just a little, just a smidge. And when you are doing the most meta, sweaty thing available, you don't have an identity for your character. This is a thing I like to do. This does not matter in the scheme of things. It's flavor, right? But this character, Executioner Tolt, I liked the idea of a executioner for the banished legions who, I don't know, perhaps he had some avenue of learning a little bit of some sort of scholarly pursuits. He learned how to get a little smarter. He learned a little bit of the arcane arts, but channeled it through weapons. Just a smidge. Mostly a strong boy. Because there's something about the Stormhawk axe rippling a storm of lightning around you, the Ruins greatsword that you find in Redmanes Castle, you know, just ripping up the earth and tearing it from below people. You know, the gravity side, the more earthbound sort of casting conspectus. I really like that, so maybe it's the gravity build, I don't know, the strength gravity build. So I felt like he didn't lose his identity entirely, and it felt like something that an executioner would worry about in the world of the lands between. He would try to find every possible avenue to kill people as quickly and efficiently as possible. And so that's it. A little smidge, underdeveloped as far as story or narrative goes, but I thought it was neat. And look at this poor guy. After all of our chasing and all of our back and forth and his team chasing us, he succumbs to the 4 blasts of the gravity bolt. I love the Falling Star Beast Jaw. I love the Ruins Greatsword. Those 2 weapons feel like the core of the build, and had I realized how much I would be using them and having a blast with them, I probably would have placed them a little smarter in my inventory, make it a little more accessible. But you get all your tricks that you get with your normal strength build, and then some. Is your damage a little less as a result? Sure, but with 54 strength, as long as you're two-handing your weapons, you're getting as much out of your strength as you can within reason, and at a reasonable level. In fact, I'd say it's colored my perception of strength builds a little bit. I kind of don't want to run strength builds that don't have enough intelligence to run Ruins Greatsword and Falling Star Beast Jaw. I think I'm trying to remember what the stat requirements are for them. I don't know if you need 20 int. There might be something else in my inventory that takes 20 points of int. I would have to look at that. You might be able to downsize it to like 16 or 18 or something. Don't quote me on that. I don't know the numbers I don't have the numbers in front of me. That's Excel spreadsheet nonsense, but Still, the variability, even with builds, how this character essentially is the same archetype as my Enchanted Knight, though takes a little bit different of approach. The stats are very similar for one. But the armor is different, the weapon choices are a little bit different, the inventory layout's different. As a result, even though the builds are terribly similar, all things considering, the flavor was different to me. And I think that's part of the staying power of Elden Ring and Soulsborne games in general, is it's like the IKEA of video games. I've heard that phrase been uttered a few times, mostly by me, but you can change up your build, you can switch the weapons around, you can throw the stats around, and you can just play with everything in so many different ways. And sure, there will always be a groove or a rut that becomes the meta, but the game's had some positive patches along its lifespan, and some of the more useless equipment has become more viable, useful. Not the end-all be-all for any situation, but you can make things that some might consider bad, you can make them usable. And I think that's neat, that you can take certain weapons that are less desirable or certain setups and do well. Now, this setup, I would say, is mostly filled with good stuff. I wouldn't say I'm using anything that's terribly suboptimal, other than maybe my stats can be placed a little smarter, but it hits the key points it needs to. You have the good armor, you have good enough damage, you have the utility, the setup of the inventory is fairly smart, and so you can have a lot of fun. You can be stupid like me and make useless trades when you really shouldn't against twin Nagakibas and come out on top with 60 points of HP or however little I had there. I had a good time. That's all I'm trying to say. And there's just, I don't know, I really like this build, and because of that variability, because of how much you can change up your builds and how many different styles of play there are, I'm afraid I won't be able to throw int on every single strength build in good conscience. There's just so much that I still want to mess around with, and you go through, moods, I suppose. You want to play with a sword and board lightning build one day, you want to be a strength boy with intelligence the next day. After that, maybe you want to do a roar build and use all those fancy roar ashes of war. That's a thing I probably should need not to do. I don't think I've done that yet, so that's another thing to put on the docket of things to do. I included that little clip even though it ended a little anticlimactic with the host dying, because I just love bashing people over the head with the stars. The star fist, or the fist, what are they called? The star fists, aren't they? I forget. They have star in the title, or in their name. And I love the heavy. It's so goofy. You stick your two balled up hands covered in spikes together, and you do an overhead slam with both your fists. And it comes out kind of quick, and even though it's short range, it hits suspiciously hard. And I love it so much. I don't know. I'm recalled to, like, a single scene from, like, Batman the Animated Series where the Joker, balls both of his hand, or balls one fist and cups the other hand around his fist and then brings it down for a power strike on someone. I don't even remember who. It's a distant memory. That's always stuck in my mind, and so every time I see something that even approaches that attack, I just go, whoa, that's cool, that's neat. Is it that practical? I don't know. I haven't seen anybody do it in MMA. It's probably not a real thing. I can't imagine it would be. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm a gamer, not a fighter. But if you do have any clips of somebody using that attack in the real world and it's effective, send it my way. I would love to see that. It just sounds so goofy. I feel like it's in that funny realm where it's like cool, but is it effective, It's like somebody using a katana or a sword in a reverse grip, or a knife in a reverse grip, where it's just you're holding the weapon the wrong way. How effective is it? And it's like, it might be effective in one situation, right? Just one. And what would the situation be? Well, with a sword and with a katana, you're losing a lot of your reach, you're losing some power. It's not a good idea. It's a bad idea. With a knife, it might be okay if you are so terribly close to your target you have no other range of motion, and that's probably about it. And ideally, you don't want to be like that. And it feels so incredibly niche, it's probably still not a thing. Reverse grip isn't much of a thing, folks. Get it out of your heads. Toss it away. So it treads that line between, cool and reasonable, and it's in that realm of I don't know if it's unreasonable, therefore it's still cool to me. And I guess I will leave that thought there. I didn't think I'd talk so long on the Starfist, but I like it. I did a punch video. It's a good one. Go find it. Go watch it. It's fun. The punch experience. I enjoy punching the things. During the making of this video, I realized something, and that's I have gotten worse at my swaps. I've gotten bad at them. I've had too much time between play sessions. I haven't practiced the inputs enough. I've got a new controller, and so it feels a little weird as well. Lots of things I could call excuses, but in all in all, it's my fault. It's a thing I need to correct. So that's something I want to be doing in the near future, is working on getting those swaps down, committing it to muscle memory, because right now I'm still visually doing my swaps. I'm looking for the item, and though sometimes it's fast, I could be faster, and it should be faster, and I'll feel more confident when they are faster. That's just a natural outgrowth of practicing something. You feel better with it. So that's a thing I should need and ought to do. I had spent too much time wandering through my menus, more or less, but you ever fight a guy who's sitting at a bonfire or at a site of grace, and he's got, you know, his rune arc on, he's got twice as many flasks, and it seems like he wants a duel, but he just wants to chug the whole time, and you're having trouble killing him because he's got like 190 ping and he's wearing bull goats? You might have seen something similar to the situation I have just described to you, and I would like to share with you a wonderful treat, or a wonderful trick you can use on most builds, most martial builds at least. Poison that sucker. Alright, make him sad. Poison him. Because if you can lay on the hurt and kill him outright, do that. If you're having a tough time doing that because you're having trouble adjusting to latency, or it's just very hard to find the ways to hit him without outright trades, poison that sucker. Once he's poisoned, swap to your other thing and poison him again. Trust me. There's a reason all the very good players, or most of the very good players, switch to poisons when they have an opportunity. It works out. Once they're poisoned, you're getting the extra damage. You need to catch up on this sucker. This sucker's gonna have twice as many heals as you. He's got the homeroom advantage. He's got the rune arc. He has everything going for him. In a pinch, he might turn on blues. You need to end this fight. It is a time attack in his favor. He wins if you're passive, right? So you need to act, and so the best way to act is to poison that sucker. And let me tell you, the dynamic of the fight shifted once I poisoned him and got him on the aggressive. Once he wanted to leave, you can just punish. I should have switched off of the Stitcher when she was double poisoned, but like I said, I'm not that confident in my swaps at the moment. I need to work on them. And so you can just chase him, follow him, and he succumbs to the double poison as we do a string of 4,000 damage to the guy. Cracks me up. But we're approaching the end of the video, and I love these two clips I have saved for you at the last, so I'm glad you're still here. Goodness, I can't believe you stuck around. I'm so very thankful. But I saved these two clips for you because I think these two clips kind of show off what the build is all about. Harassing people with Gravity Bolt and Waves of Destruction, or whatever it's called. The Ruins Greatsword Ash of War. I'll look at it in a moment. I think I pull it out. But yeah, there we are. We're doing a swap. Oh, maybe it's Waves of Darkness. Yeah, good old Waves of Darkness. I should have died. Another very close call. But we survived nonetheless. Here we are. Wave of Destruction, that's what it's called. Oh, beautiful. Takes out one of their party members, turns the 3v1 into a 2v1, and things are looking up. I should be glad that that guy didn't have his Summon More Blues button on. But I digress. You know what's a funny thing that I haven't used much, and I'm wondering if it would be worthwhile using? The Falling Star Beastjaw is a piercing weapon, because it's got that big ol' hook at the end. Most colossal weapons aren't, to my knowledge. It might be the only one. I mean, it's split damage, it's magic and physical, but it still has piercing. That means you can get counter damage if you hit somebody during their attack. So, I don't know, I haven't played with that too much. I'm awful at hitting people with colossal weapons. They're just harder to hit people with on average. Some people call them outright garbage, and in some respects They kind of are. They have uses, don't get me wrong, like Gravity Bolt or Waves of Destruction or, you know, the Crouch Poke on Colossal Swords. Colossal Swords being the best, it feels, of the whole genre of colossal weapons. But there we are. We get the sneaky backstab. I'm trying to get my mana up, and we're able to switch to a Shamshir, and I don't know why, I just felt like using the Shamshir and some poison. Kind of felt dirty, but it worked out. He just kept trading into it when I was getting way more hits off. Oh my goodness. But still, all them gravity-flavored Ashes of War. It's good. Maybe I should have named it the Gravity video. I'd named it something along the lines of Strength with a Pinch of Int. Something like that. Still, you know, if you have to fight a wizard with Moonveil, maybe he doesn't have Moonveil, maybe he's using some other weapon. Maybe he's using a different katana, which is significantly more honorable. Har har. If you have to fight a light rolling wizard of any flavor, it's best that you're in a confined space. It means he can't run too far, because as you can see with those rolls, he can escape very easily. Also, free aim, Waves of Destruction. It'll do a lot more that way. As for Gravity Bolt, it is technically a projectile. It looks like it comes out from under their feet. That's kind of how the animation looks. Technically, much like Lightning Bolt, you are shooting an invisible projectile from the top of the weapon as you raise it into the air. Not the tippity top, like on the Falling Star Beast Jaw, it's like the middle bulb part, the bulbous part. Shoots a very quick projectile out of that, and then if that collides with the enemy, of course, or collides with anything, it'll just fire the attack there where it lands. Hopefully it's a player, it can be the ground. You get it. So, yeah, we're using that double poison because he's fast rolling and the ping is bad, and I need to stop playing early in the afternoon when I'm playing with people over the pond who have 200 ping. Oh, I yearn for the day where I get to play evenings with all the people in my time zone, but I digress. But look at this, he's trying to escape, he's double poisoned, and so we make him dance for our amusement. With the Falling Star Beast Jaw. Well, thank you for joining me today. I hope you had a good time, and stay tuned for the next video. Ciao.